At last, after walking for what felt like a century, Johnny arrived at the stadium. Don't get too comfortable, Johnny. You still need to overcome the challenging and extremely punishing climb to the peak of the stadium to reach your seat. A trial so difficult that only few before you have had the courage to even attempt such a daring task, and even fewer have lived to tell the tale. There's no more time to waste. Your adventure awaits. A half hour into Johnny's quest, he finds himself in his first predicament, stuck between a sea of obstacles, a crowd of fans. Luckily for Johnny, he stumbles across an old, abandoned, deserted pirate ship. He carefully climbs aboard the ship, and it takes him through the sea of obstacles, all the way to the top floor. What an uneasy ride that was. Johnny is now one step closer to achieving his goal. Unfortunately, Johnny falls into another troubling complication. He is thirsty and is out of water. Water conundrum. While looking around in distress, Johnny finds a crevice at the side of his path where there was some condensation that ran down some rocks and gathered in a small puddle for Johnny to collect. Johnny crawled over to the puddle and scooped the water into a small bottle. Now, with no further side quests in Johnny's way, and his bottle of water in his hand, Johnny can continue through the final stretch of his tedious adventure. Approaching the top of the stadium, Johnny now has eyes on the prize and can see the field of the stadium in all of its glory. As the players start to come out from hiding and gather onto the field, Johnny decides to dangerously walk backwards up the final steps of stairs to his seat. What could he possibly be thinking, bringing more risk to himself when he was right there, seconds away from reaching the seat he deserved? Within just moments of his arrival, Johnny heard the roar of a noise he couldn't make out, upon which he gazed up to witness two large, menacing dragons soar right over his head. The flying dragons gave the signal to the players on the field to start the performance. Immediately, the players started to dance gracefully on the field, which lasted close to an hour before they walked off and a group of singers arrived. Songs filled the air and echoed for miles, captivating Johnny's attention even more. The music arrived before Johnny's ears. This marked the end of the first half of the performance and transitioned into the final act. When the singers finished, they left the field for the players to return. Johnny, on the edge of his seat again, eagerly watching the players dance into another stunning scene. As the performances come to a close, Johnny starts to notice how late it's getting, and he is starting to freeze, sitting at the top of the stadium. Johnny knows very well that he's going to need to start his long adventure back home before it gets too cold for him to complete his journey. Johnny watches one last time as all the players and singers come out to the field and say their final farewell. Now Johnny is on his way down the stairs, tracing his steps he took when he arrived. Johnny realizes that his path home is now clear, without any more obstacles in his way. Now wasn't this worth it, Johnny? All your effort in climbing to the top of the stadium paid off. Yes, of course it was worth it. You experienced something that most people would have had a hard time believing. You deserve this, Johnny. Johnny, in his excitement and pleasure, turned to observe the calm view below, and sighed to himself. What a spectacular day this was!